Have you ever had that feeling that something was off? Like your sixth sense is knocking at the back of your brain, that maybe the place you were in wasn't as safe as you expected, or a person that you talked to maybe didn't have your best interests in mind. Yeah? It's a common feeling that I think most people experience at least once in their lives. But what I think a lot of people don't have is the experience of being a highly trained mercenary who has made many enemies who want their blood. In every single Armored Core game, you best believe that we make enemies. People lay traps for us, outright challenge us, and some even go through great lengths to conceal who is actually hiring the hit. In this video, I want to go over one of my favorite examples of making an enemy that we have in the series, and is one of my favorite stories across the entire game. So let's get into it. This is the Raven's Nest Conspiracy. Part 1. The story. So let's set the stage. We are a Raven in a post-apocalyptic world after the Great Destruction. A cataclysmic event that has rendered the surface uninhabitable and has forced humanity underground. We have quite a few missions under our belts, something around 20. We do have a lot of correspondence with both major factions, Murakumo Millennium and Chrome, and have already directly helped them with the scouting of, or defending of, a hidden base in the northern regions. Our rankings on the Raven notoriety board is growing as well, most likely cracking the top 5. These other Ravens surely have noticed us. They have been on the charts longer than we have, and some of them have quite storied reputations. The only constant, of course, is Hustler 1, who is pretty firmly at the top of the ranks, and he has a habit of handling the difficult tasks, whatever that means. We have also been tasked with going into a few underground locations as well in the past, rescuing research teams, searching for underground computer networks, and encountering rare automated MTs. Lots of old things. Depending on who we have helped, we might already have a huge target on our back. But that's normal for a Raven. We are soldiers of fortune after all. Speaking of soldiers of fortune, we need to get back to work. Surely there is a task available for us. There's always work to be done for a Raven. Going through our missions, it seems that we have 2 available right now. First, let's check this Stop Gas Exposure mission.
This mission is extremely dangerous. A problem has occurred at one of the ruins from the old generation, namely, a military facility. The facility was used to develop chemical weapons, and it seems that someone has secretly entered and tampered with the control panels. It's now full of some kind of gas. The gas corrodes metal, so naturally your AC will take damage. Unluckily, all of the equipment within the base is resistant to the gas, so the defense mechanisms are operating. Of the 5 control panels, only 1 appears to be working. Even so, just destroy all of them. We will provide the detonation devices, just plant them on all 5 panels. When you are finished, get out of the base immediately. If you dawdle within the facility, your AC will suffer a dangerous level of damage. Be careful.
Good lord, from Raven's Nest itself? Must be quite bad. Before we take that, the other one seems like a pretty standard job. Remove base occupants.
What say yous helps me out with the little job I've taken? I think I'm over my head on this one. You see, it's at the bottom of the sea. Yeah, an abandoned undersea base northeast of Agrea. I was supposed to get rid of all the guys who moved in. They says it was an easy job, so I takes it. But these guys are weird. You take them down, but they keep coming back. Nothing to do but get out of there. But I can't just leave it. Pay you 35,000 credits for the job. Can't tell you who I'm really working for. Look, I'm giving you all I should have been paid. All in advance. This time, it's not just for the money. I got me a reputation to keep. Anyone who can fight'll do. I'll be waiting.
Have you ever heard the expression, if it's too good to be true, it probably is? Well, it's good advice. And before we look more into it, let's check out this Boss Savage guy before we take his job. He's stated to be someone who is quite flashy, but that makes him unsuccessful. Maybe he jumped in a bit over his head? Also, he can't tell us who hired him? I guess it's fine, but still, we tend to like to know who we are working for. So, we either have a guaranteed death trap with an acid-filled underground base, or a support mission that has gone awry, helping some guy who is in over their head. Let's do the in over the head one at the bottom of the ocean, I guess. At least we're getting everything paid up front. Upon starting the mission, we see that Boss Savage is actually here with us at the base.
This base is certain to have secrets. Split up into 2 groups and search.
Wait, the base has secrets?
Main system
I thought we
engaging
were just trying to
combat
take
mode.
out all the enemies in the base. Something isn't lining up here. As we push through the base, Boss Savage wasn't kidding. There are a lot of these guys here. Almost seems like too many. But there aren't any enemies missing down any of the paths we go down. They're all infested. What is he even doing?
I've locked the doors to this room. Sorry, but killing you is my mission. I will take my leave now.
Oh, alright. A trap. We haven't really run into one of these before.
Cannot unlock
Maybe we
gates.
should have listened to our gut. This is how people die, and we fell for it. Surely there is a way out in some form. We
Gate
just need
check.
to find it.
Cannot unlock gate.
Shame there isn't a submarine in this submarine pen. A hidden wall. Well, let's get the hell out of here, if it's even possible. This base is quite the winding path. It clearly was not abandoned, as whoever hired Boss Savage to actually take us out must have some pretty deep pockets. Now I guess we know why he wouldn't tell us who he was working for.
Escape pod discovered. System switched to normal mode.
Alright, well, now that we're back topside and alive, let's be a bit more choosy with what we take. Maybe we should check our mail first before we depart on another mission. Maybe R has some insight onto who actually tried to kill us.
Well, well, well. I never imagined that you would come back alive. It seems that I underestimated you. Well, you certainly showed me. We shall meet again someday. I look forward to that day.
Well, that's unnerving. All we know is that Boss Savage either has a vendetta against us for some reason, or some other corporation sees us as enough of a threat to hire a hitman to take us out. Let's give what he said to us in the underwater base another listen. Maybe there's a clue here to what's going on.
I've locked the doors to this room. Sorry, but killing you is my mission. I will take my leave now.
It's worth mentioning here that his lines state, "My mission is to kill you, not to complete some other mission." We fought plenty of other ACs before up until this point. Wildcat was present at the Defend Freight Train mission, but it's pretty clear from his attack patterns that we were not the primary target. Valkyrie shows up in the Attack Urban Center mission, but again, this can most likely be chalked up as a defend the city from a rampaging AC mission, not kill this person. Killing us was just a consequence of the job. But this was a targeted hit. And again, whoever had the resources had deep pockets. You don't just volunteer up an underwater base that is clearly still functioning unless you have a lot of resources at your disposal. We will need to keep our head on a swivel if we want to make it out alive. The gas mission is still available and appears to be the only thing we have left. Let's get this one over with too. The mission is a bit of a pain, knowing that if our AP hits 0, there's no way out. It's certainly a risk, but if we can survive a half-hearted assassination attempt, surely we can survive this gas threat. After finishing the gas exposure task and doing a few missions where we help Murakumo Millennium in their quest to overpower Chrome, we are tasked with the mission Mop Up Chrome Remnants, a mission where we are assigned with doing exactly what it says. Wipe out the remaining Chrome forces in a massive hidden underground military base. The mission is mostly uneventful until the Devastator shows up and tries to ruin our day.
Raven, help me! Monster!
High energy response.
Of course, this isn't much of an issue for us.
Insufficient data.
Nothing can really stop us at this point. It seemed like taking out Chrome didn't even matter in the end. Murakumo Millennium went down with them. And it doesn't seem like there'd be much work left to do now that the two major corporations are gone. Wait. Mop up Chrome Remnants again? Surely they don't have anything else left. That giant MT seemed to be the culmination of everything they had. If they have anything else, it wouldn't really make sense. We've received a rumor that a former Chrome military facility has recently been visited by an unknown group. The true situation is unclear, but we have eyewitness reports of presumed weapons. Although supposedly already dismantled, the military superiority of Chrome was awesome in scope. It is not surprising that some may still be loyal to Chrome. But still, they are only remnants of the group. They probably have no serious weapons. This job may not be satisfying for Ravens, but we want to eliminate apprehension quickly. Enter the base and attack them as you find them. That is all. Once again, we venture into the depths of the base. A few hours or maybe only a few days have passed since we fought what few forces Chrome had left, plus its super weapon. The place is absolutely deserted though.
Raven, there seems to be nothing else here. That's enough. Please return.
Guess we better turn around. Seems like an absolute waste of time and money for a Raven to do something like this. Wait. A radar spike? And a lot of them? Fantastic. Another ambush. These MTs and ACs are no joke. We have only seen general purpose ACs like this in a few other places, and the Shiranui is not to be underestimated. And those other MTs? They're familiar, but I'm not quite sure where we have seen them before. Either way, we need to get out of here as quickly as possible. Who knows what else is lurking in this base? If there's another one of those giant MTs, we might not make it. Luckily, we're almost at the egg.
You're still alive? But we will end that now. Don't you understand? You are totally out of line. You are going overboard.
Enemy ranking AC. Identified.
Again?
Sledgehammer.
Let's deal with this flashy failure once and for all. With that, the assassination attempts should come to an end. Clearly, even Boss Savage couldn't best us, despite all of his underhanded tactics. We only have one job left, and it's again from Raven's Nest. Wait a sec. Isn't it Raven's Nest that hired us on the last mission? Either way, Savage is dead, and if the nest falls, we don't really have a place to go. This takes place at Nest HQ, so let's get this briefing and get to the bottom of this. We have to get our answers soon. An armed band of unknown affiliation broke into Nest HQ and destroyed part of the facility. The security corps quelled the disturbance without incident. There is one problem: the floating mines left by the band. Normally our corps would deal with them, but the mines are of a special structure and very powerful. We want you to take care of these mines. Just blow them up as you find them. You will be paid well. Any sort of semblance of this being a normal mission is immediately thrown out the window as we are ambushed by multiple Nest MTs. Fighting our way through the Nest HQ and climbing a load of cybernetic parts, we finally make it to a chamber.
Your fate is sealed.
And hear the words that would make any Raven's stomach drop to the floor.
Enemy ranking AC identified as 9 ball.
Well, we need to get to the bottom of this. 9 ball be damned. The strongest Raven is dead, and now we can get to the heart of Raven's Nest and figure out what's happening. What? No wonder he's the strongest Raven. There's 2 of him.
What is your wish?
Defeating 9 ball allows us to charge forward and get to the bottom of this mystery. But instead of doing that, I want to get into the second part of this video. Part 2. Analysis. Before we get to the analysis, if you're enjoying the video and you want more videos like this, please consider subscribing to the channel. And if you're feeling generous, maybe leaving a like. I'm a small solo creator and these things take a lot of time for me to make, but I want to keep pushing out high quality content for you guys and gals. But only sub if you're enjoying the content. Alright, let's get back to the video. Now that we have played every mission involving our parties for context, let's analyze what actually happened. For those of you who are a bit lost, that's okay. I did my best to cover all the story beats, but the short version is that someone was clearly trying to kill us. However, who was actually at fault is a bit up in the air, so let's analyze that a bit. I find that there are 3 takes on the story around the internet. 2 of them are very similar, and one of them is a bit out there. The 3 theories are: 1. Boss Savage is a tool of the corporations seeking revenge on the player and is completely independent of Raven's Nest. 2. Boss Savage has a vendetta against us as a Raven, and Raven's Nest attacking us is unrelated to Boss Savage's grudge, more likely influenced by us killing so many Ravens and overthrowing corporations. So they are both trying to kill us, but for completely unrelated reasons. 3. Raven's Nest employs Boss Savage as a hitman after we are branded as an irregular. An irregular is a person who can greatly influence history, and wants to kill us for taking out a corporation as well as many other Ravens. So let's go over each one of these in a little bit of detail with the likelihood of each. So, the first one with Boss Savage being a tool of the corporations has a little bit of merit, but starts to fall apart towards the end of the game, but we'll analyze it for its validity. So first, Boss Savage is, well, a Raven. We get paid to do the dirty work of corporations. And up to that point, it sort of makes sense that the undersea base was an abandoned facility owned by one of the corporations. Raven's Nest doesn't seem to have too much in terms of holding actual facilities. As far as we know, the only facilities they own are the gas facility, Raven's Nest HQ, and the maintenance facilities we use to buy parts and use the garage in. Second, Boss Savage is hired before we actually take out any of the corporations. It certainly could be a preemptive move from either Chrome or Murakumo. Third, Boss Savage told us himself he was placed on a mission to kill us. That of course doesn't preclude Raven's Nest from hiring him, but there are two major corporations and we've been hitting both of them. Surely one might have hired him. For the reasons this theory falls apart, Boss Savage shows up after Chrome and Murakumo are stated to be destroyed. That is, in the second Mop-Up Chrome Remnants mission. Who would pay him after they were defeated? Surely he's not doing it out of the goodness of his heart. Second, the enemy types show up match only one of the types of general purpose ACs that Murakumo used in previous missions. The Shiranui is very close looking to the Kagero, which is what the Plus Escapee uses, who is also a target of Murakumo Millennium, and Sagiri, which they use to attack the hidden base entrance. That rules out the Bishop type enemies that we see Chrome uses, and only the super elite general ACs that Murakumo used to attack us show up after Murakumo is destroyed. And finally, his lines just don't really make sense in the context of being hired by a corporation. You're out of line? You're going overboard? It doesn't strike me as something a corporation would really care about. Murakumo wants to start a second Great Destruction if they lose, and Chrome makes an aggressive, multifaceted play at power. How is the Raven going overboard? I don't think this theory has much merit, but I can see why people believe it, so we'll leave it be for now. The second theory is that Boss Savage is working completely independently from Raven's Nest, which some people like to picture as more of a Raven on Raven grudge, much like his other grudgy counterpart, Iguazu, in Armored Core 6. This one has a bit of validity, but might require us to make some assumptions and leaps in logic to make it work. Boss Savage comes off as kind of stupid, and while he might not actually be stupid, or as stupid as he wants us to believe he is in his briefing, we haven't seen too much to prove otherwise. Why did Savage not ensure there was no evacuation in the undersea base? Why did he not ambush us when he had concentrated MT support in both scenarios? And of course, the higher failure rate than normal stated in his ranking profile. This stupidity might just mean that he is super headstrong and wants to come after us, even if he isn't being hired. Raven's Nest might not actually want to hire someone so unreliable to come after us. After all, they do have access to Hustler 1 as their trump card, and may be working independently, and the mission layout may just be a coincidence of the two people trying to kill us. Boss Savage states that killing you is my mission. This doesn't 100% mean that someone actually hired him to take on a mission. He may just have a personal goal or mission to kill us. If he is someone who kills someone mercilessly, our existence very well could be an affront to his reputation. And he might just want to be the person to rise up the ranking board, to be the person who killed the Raven. Of course, there are a lot of holes in this theory as well. How is Boss Savage getting to all of these locations without support? Surely he doesn't just know about abandoned ocean floor bases or moved into Chrome's abandoned military base after they were ousted. It doesn't explain why there are the same MTs and general purpose ACs that show up in the missions each time. Crusaders in the Undersea and Stop Gas Exposure mission, as well as Storches and Shiranuis in the Mop-Up Chrome Remnants and Destroy Floating Mines missions. The MTs in the Seafloor mission can certainly be written off as an automatic defense system, However, the general purpose ACs and the mop-up Chrome Remnants missions are definitely manned. It doesn't make sense for Savage to have such a backing force for such a personal grudge. The final theory makes the most sense, which of course is the most popular one, that Boss Savage is either a tool of Raven's Nest or is an actual member of Raven's Nest masquerading as an independent mercenary. This one has a lot of support, so let's go over them. Firstly, let's point out the obvious. Storches, those big flying MTs, are only used by Raven's Nest. They are only present in the Raven Test mission, the AC Test exercise, Mop Up Chrome Remnants, and Destroy Floating Mines mission. It would not make any sense for another corporation to use them besides the Nest. Shiranuis do show up in other missions, primarily Kill Struggle Leader, but they appear in both Mop Up Chrome Remnants and Destroy Floating Mines as well. These are very obviously tools used by the Nest. It's worth mentioning that if Chrome was trying to kill us, they would most likely use their Bishop MTs in combination with the highly advanced Chaos MTs, and Murakumo would most likely use many different types of general purpose ACs, the previously mentioned Sagiri, Kagero, and Shiranui. Either way, Storches do not make sense outside of the Nest. The Crusaders, used in the gas mission and the undersea base mission, aren't quite as concrete as the Storch MTs. Those MTs do show up in missions completely unrelated to the Nest or Boss Savage, but them being in both of these missions does hint to the Nest supplying them. So this one isn't so much proof as it is something that could support the theory. Second, both times Boss Savage shows up are the times when Raven's Nest missions are available. If you play the game in a different order, which you most likely have at least once, you can skip the undersea mission, especially if you cheese it by intentionally failing the mission. But I like to think that these two missions are to give the illusion of choice. It's supposed to be an impossible task either way. Savage just screws up his assassination, and the Raven is underestimated for the gas mission. Of course, Raven's Nest rectifies this by making their missions the only ones accessible later on. Contextually, it also makes the most sense. We have taken down a corporation in either story path, as well as have eliminated at least one Raven in our progression with the possibility of more. We are most certainly the largest threat to order, and somebody has to stop us. Now, every good theory, of course, can have a few holes, and this one does indeed have a few. 1. If Raven's Nest is trying to kill us, why are they repairing and maintaining our AC, as well as giving us missions? Surely they would just not help us in that case. I know it's needed for gameplay reasons, but it is a bit of a glaring plot hole. 2. Why rely on Boss Savage of all pilots to carry out the hit? If we are in an underwater base, why not just send Nineball to do the job? If it is a Raven's Nest hit, it would make sense to send the guy who takes care of the hard jobs to do, well, the hard job. On top of that, the area is remote. People wouldn't see Nineball be defeated, and rumors of his defeat could be quashed. Much like they are in Master of Arena, but I digress. Let's keep it in one game if we can. Third, and more of a general plot hole with all the theories, why on earth does the Raven continue to help Raven's Nest after it becomes very apparent that they are trying to kill us? It really is quite obvious that Raven's Nest is actively trying to kill us, and us going to Raven's Nest HQ doesn't really accomplish much. It isn't readily apparent that there is a computer running everything. The mission is highly dangerous with mines everywhere. And before people say it, I do not subscribe that the Raven is trying to maintain his employment by taking the job and protect the Nest. It's a theory that I've seen thrown around quite a bit on the internet. Raven's Nest themselves in the briefing states that an armed band was easily cleared out by their military corps. Raven's Nest was not at risk of collapsing, and a lot of story hoops have to be jumped through to justify going to the HQ itself to find out what's going on. Ah, you thought I was gonna forget to mention the extra bit of lore dropped on us in Armored Core Nexus, didn't you? Don't worry, I didn't forget. The theory that Savage knows more than he lets on and might actually just be an employee of the Nest is hinted at in his Armored Core Nexus encounter. Let's give it a quick watch.
You fight well, but we're mere pawns in this game. The corporations, too. No one realizes.
Well, he certainly seems to know more about what's going on than he originally let on in the first game, didn't he? There's a little bit of confusion here. The line about the corporations too is a bit misleading in my opinion. I believe that Chrome and Murakumo are both supposed to be eliminated at this point, but we also receive this mission, the Armored Core Nexus mission, from Murakumo Millennium. So, if we were following the Armored Core 1 timeline, this shouldn't be possible. There aren't really any corporations left to be pawns, and Murakumo can't give us the mission because they're gone. All discrepancies aside, this does lend much more credence to Theory 3, but it does raise a few more questions than answers. I personally think it's just a nice nod to the old Armored Core 1 mission and should be treated as such, so I won't give it too much time in this video. So, where does that leave us? Well, whatever you want to believe, Raven. I just wanted to share one of my favorite stories in the series, some thoughts on the theories, and my own commentary on it. It's a fun little storyline, wouldn't you agree? Do you have any theories that you want to add to the mix? Maybe I'm completely wrong in my takes. Let me know in the comments below. As always, I would love to hear it. I actually won an auction for the Armored Core 1 Koshiki Sette Shiryoushu, or Armored Core 1 official databook, on Yahoo Auctions a month back, and should be receiving it from Japan in the next month or so here. If I see any detail about this in the book, I'd be more than happy to do a follow-up on this video, or maybe just a video on the book in general. Don't forget to subscribe if you like the content, and I'll see you in the next one, Ravens.